Hello, it's Amber, your superhero stylist, bringing you another comic book review. Be warned, there will be spoilers.
It's June 9th, 2008, and I'm talking about the Justice Society. DC's collection of All-Star Comics, issues number 58 to 67, with DC Special number 29, were compiled into the trade paperback Justice Society Volume 1. The prologue tells readers about the twin Earths, each with a pack of superheroes that fight all forms of crime and intergalactic evils. The more familiar heroes like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash are actually on Earth 1 and formed the Justice League. The alternate Earth plays host to the Justice Society, which is comprised of superheroes less known, including Power Girl, Star-Spangled Kid, and Hourman, to name just a few. But not to worry, if you're leery of taking up the pages for such foreign characters, there is still the Golden Age versions of The Flash and Green Lantern, plus an appearance by an aging gray-haired Superman. The Justice Society features characters that are often overlooked, but each of whom have enduring qualities and fun superpowers. Taking into account that these issues were originally constructed in the 1970s, you might be inclined to think this level of cheese is too much for your hardcore Alan Moore mentality. Remember that this was a time where the Comics Code Authority was big, and the need for writers to disguise storylines that included violence, sex, and opposing authority existed. Star-Spangled Kid's Cosmic Rod is a shining gold phallus. The kid is always shouting about how powerful it is. The shape of it is less than dubious, and without it he's pretty much useless. Luckily for him, as the issues progress, so does the technology, and the rod's powers are finally harnessed in a giant belt buckle, which is nothing more than a modern-day codpiece. Hourman faces his own form of impotence, having powers that are so restrictive he's left at the base often, and considers himself retired. Power Girl spends panel after panel complaining about being weaker than Superman, and fighting to get out from under his shadow. She's even weaker than Earth 1's Supergirl, but still the strongest physically of the All-Star squad. After a few issues, though, it's easy to want to reach into the pages and tell her to quit complaining and just catch the bad guys. That's probably because we're just used to the way things are now in the 21st century. It's easy to forget the struggles of the civil rights movement and women's liberation. Winning the right to vote isn't something that this new generation of comic book readers will be able to understand. It's important to learn our history, and taking up classic comics is a fun way to do it. Golden Age artwork is part of our American folklore. The bright colors and wacky costumes are modern, pulpy versions of medieval tapestries and cave drawings used to teach ethics, morals, and history. Now to highlight the villains. Xanadu, the alien/Egyptian godlike being that was encased in amber. He comes the closest to destroying the Justice Society and the world. The sun-powered Vulcan cripples Dr. Fate, who technically dies, but is kept alive with the Star-Spangled Kid's Cosmic Rod until he's cured. Solomon Grundy and the Pied Piper think they can best the squadron, but they are trounced by Power Girl and Superman. Vandal Savage produces a most creative time-traveling trap to bring the heroes into a Camelot era, but the armored foes they face are actually robots. The villains featured have more depth than you might realize at first glance. The writers have managed to take huge backstories and cut them down to fit within the panels, while still providing the types of bad guys we want to see beaten. This trade is a great addition to any comic collection. It's important for the historical reasons that I already noted, but it's also a kid-friendly book, and likely to be suitable for anyone age 10+. The book should bolster an appreciation for days when colors were a primary consideration for mass reproduction, and morals to every story are obvious but still entertaining. Always overcome your weakness. Know you have a team to rely upon. And there's no such thing as retirement for a hero.
Thanks for joining me today. I'm Amber, your superhero stylist. Please feel free to send me your comments. And don't forget, you can find tips on how to make your own superhero or supervillain costume at my blog, herofashions.blogspot.com. Remember, being evil is never a good trend.